Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. Would you be prepared to change, to downscale from one circle of influence to another if you felt that you've been called to do it? Well, thank you for being part of the programme today. A large portion of the work that we do at Wesley Mission is meeting the needs of families and children. Through Wesley Dalmar, we care for children directly with initiatives like foster care and after-school care and programmes like that, and also indirectly through many parenting programmes and midweek playgroups and those kind of things. Today I'd like to look at a midweek programme that we run in the northwest of Sydney called Baby Rhyme Time. This is essentially a playgroup where children come together for a time of structured play and stories, and parents connect with one another, developing new friendships, and more importantly, have an outlet for social interaction with other people at similar experiences and stages of life. We'll see how this one programme is beneficial to the children, but I think also to the parents. I'm going to be joined in the studio by a lawyer turned children's author, Kirrily Lowe. Kirrily is one person who's, I suppose, answered that question I posed a little earlier in the programme, changing direction to do something different because she felt it was the right thing to do. She was a lawyer working with young people in Western Sydney. She felt the call to study at Bible College, where she met her husband, and has since left the courts, as it were, to be involved in pastoral work in the local church with her husband, as well as being a busy mother of 3 children. She felt the call to write and has since had a number of books published. Kirrily left the legal profession to pursue a calling which had a much smaller circle of influence, however significant circle of influence, and we'll see what impact this has had on Kirrily a little later on. We'll also be joined again with my friend Sharny Russell, who will sing Behold I Stand at the Door and Knock, and I'll continue to share some thoughts from the Gospel of Matthew, looking at how Jesus reacted when his adversaries tried to catch him out. But first, Baby Rhyme Time, this programme which makes a positive impact on children and their parents.
Baby Rhyme Time is such a fantastic program because it's a really fun and noisy way to develop a love of language. Research shows us that more stimulation that they have and more exposure that they have to reading and rhyming and singing and talking is going to set them up for the future. If a child knows just 8 nursery rhymes by the time they go to school, they're going to be more successful at learning how to read and learning how to write.
I first got involved with Baby Rhyme Time through a friend.
I love Baby Rhyme Time, and so does Owen, because he loves to be able to be involved. He loves the singing, he loves the instruments, and I do get out of Baby Rhyme Time the fact that he's happy and that he likes coming here, and it's hard to find something that he would like to come to every week.
Karen's really new, and I met Karen when Elizabeth was only 4 weeks old.
Oh, I love Baby Rhyme Time. I think it's a fantastic program with music and movement and lots of language for the children. It's going to help with her future language skills, which I feel like I'm doing something very important to help her development. For me, it gets me out of the house, so that's really important. I get to socialise with other mums and bubs as well, so Elizabeth gets to spend time with other babies, and she also gets to see the older children, and she loves to watch them and what they're doing when we do the music and movement. Yeah, it's a really good social outing for us.
There are a lot of isolated people within our community, so I guess what's important in my role is to try and reach out to those people, and we do that in a number of ways. Baby Rhyme Time is just one of the ways that we engage with the local community. It's about letting them know that these groups are available, and what's most important is that they're free of charge, because a lot of people can't afford to attend a lot of playgroups and do a lot of activities. We've got so many programs that connect the community. It's just finding out who they are and letting them know that we are here and we're here to support them.
For me, the biggest thing is support. The facilitators here support us all the time. Different times we have conversations before the sessions and after the sessions. They have all different programs for us to be involved in, and Julie's fantastic. She tells us all about them. And I've actually, because of that, enrolled in several programs that I've completed, and I've got a few coming up as well that I'm going to be doing. One of them was a money course, Money Matters. That was fantastic. That really helped us at home to work on our savings because we felt like we weren't getting anywhere.
I do find Baby Rhyme Time different to other programs. I have been to a couple of others, and Baby Rhyme Time definitely involves the kids more. It definitely makes him be a bit more social rather than just sitting on a chair or a mat and just listening. He's actually getting a bit more involved, and Julie does help the kids actually get involved as well with puppets and actually having them on her lap as well, which is really great.
A lot of the parents have made some really fantastic relationships. It's all about relationship building, and I think for us it's about letting the families know that they are supported in this community, because we all need support when raising children.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
Caring for a child with disability is more than a full-time job. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop caring. Sadly, without a break, this constant strain will take its toll. Help us give carers a break before they break down. Donate to Wesley Mission Disability Services before it's too late.
So don't be afraid and hesitate to get in touch with us if we can help you in any way through our child and family work and through any number of the services that we provide. The website's on the screen now, and you can also write to us. I'm joined in the studio now by Kirrily Lowe. Kirrily was a lawyer working with young people and followed a call to enrol at Bible College. Since then, she's left formally the legal profession and is now involved with her husband in leading a church in Sydney, as well as being a busy mother. That's a job in itself with 3 children, 3 boys actually. Welcome, Kirrily. Lovely to talk to you.
Hello, Keith. It's lovely to be here.
Was it a difficult decision to leave the legal profession?
You know, I'd always wanted to be a lawyer since I was a very little girl. But in my early 20s, I really had an experience with Christ that changed me. And I felt a very strong sense of calling to serve in the ministry. So when the time came and I was working with children and I loved the work, I was involved in defending children in the children's courts and I was passionate about it. But in my heart, I really knew that the law could only go so far in helping people and changing people's lives. And I knew that ultimately it was a change of heart that was going to bring transformation.
But that experience has helped to contribute to your understanding, perhaps, of some of the needs of young people.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I saw a lot when I was out there, and it wasn't all nice, and young people are dealing with all sorts of challenges, and often those challenges and circumstances of life can lead them down pathways that are far less than ideal.
If you feel you were giving something up, what did you feel you were gaining?
I think, you know, the Bible talks about leaving everything for the pearl of great price, and I very much had that sense that I was giving up things that I'd been personally pursuing for Christ, who for me was the pearl of great price, and obedience to his voice.
Now, we've got some books here. This is something that you've been very much involved in. That's a specific part of what you believe God has been doing through you and calling you to do. So why don't you just take one, read us a line from one of these books that you've written, and then I'm going to ask you all about it. But before I just ask you to do, how did it all come about, this?
Well, I never planned to write children's books. It was quite unexpected. I had my 3rd child and I was exhausted. Busy mum, ministry. I was quite sick and frequently sick. And during that time, I felt the Lord starting to teach me about the power of joy and the strength that it can bring in our life. And I was sharing that message, and before I shared it in our church one evening, I sat down and I wrote a little poem. It just kept coming to my head, and I thought, oh, I'll sit down and do something with this, about a little girl who'd lost her joy and was looking everywhere to find her joy, and where she eventually found it. And I read it out to the church that night, and about 3 different people approached me and said, you really need to turn that into a children's book. I thought, oh, I've never thought of that.
So why don't you take the one piece, which is on the top here, read us the beginning, and then let's talk a bit more about it.
Sure. Well, the first line of Peace, here we go. I found myself in a storm today, and a prince called Peace came out to play.
So something that strikes me about that, you're straight in with the word that matters, aren't you? We're not waiting for the end of the story, but also it's simple rhyme, and I don't mean that to sound trite. I don't mean by simple anybody could write it. That's not what I mean. But for a child and for a parent, I mean, I'm trying to imagine what it's like, because I've been there. You come in at the end of the day, you're tired, you're worn out, and you know you've got, I mean, later this evening we'll perhaps be reading stories to grandchildren, and you know very well that you want to do this well, but also it can't take all your energy.
Yes.
Is that...
Yes, absolutely. I think as a mum of 3 boys, I'm exhausted by the end of the day. But I want to spend time with them and read with them. So I'm looking for a story that's fun, engaging, not too long, quite short, and I personally like rhyming poetry. I think it's fun and easy to read. So when I conceived the idea of this series of books, that's definitely the direction that I went in. Very fun and relatable,
And Galatians, fruit of the Spirit, that's very much the... Well, where does the Christian faith fit into the stories? How does that work?
Yeah, so the series is based on the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians, and the series is titled The Invisible Tree. And it's the idea of this invisible tree growing on the inside of us, producing all of this good fruit. So some of the stories will really refer to God directly, and some not so much, but obviously the message and heart of Christianity is the foundation of the stories and right through them.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to make a link on the website so that people can go and find out more about these books, but also thank you for sharing a little bit about your change of direction. I think that tells us all that we might think we're going in one direction, this is the only option for us, and then God opens another door. And when God opens a door, then we've got to go through it, haven't we, to fulfill our... Thank you ever so much, Kirrily, for sharing with us. So let's welcome my friend Sharny Russell now, who's going to sing a song that's highly appropriate to Kirrily's story. Behold, I stand at the door and knock.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock, knock. And if anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him and sup with him and he with me. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock, knock. And if anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him and sup with him and he with me. Ooh, are you going to be with him, or are you going to be without him? Are you going to let him in, or are you going to ignore his knocking? He loves you so much and he wants you for his own. And he said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock, knock. And if anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him and sup with him and he with me. Ooh, are you going to be with him, or are you going to be without him? Are you going to let him in, or are you going to ignore his knocking? He loves you so much and he wants you for his own. He has so much love in his heart for you and me. He has so much love and he wants to set us free. door and knock, knock, and he hears my voice and opens the door, and opens the door. I will come to him and sup with him, and he with me. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock, knock, and he hears my voice and opens the door, and opens the door. I will come to him and sup with him, and he with me. Are you going to be with him, or are you going to be without him? Are you going to let him in, or are you going to ignore his knocking? He loves you so much and he wants you for his own. And he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock. I stand at the door and knock, knock. And if he hears my voice and opens the door, and opens the door, I will come to him and sup with him, and he with me. Oh, and he with me. Yeah, and he with me. And he with me. And he with me.
I chose to volunteer at Wesley Mission because I'm passionate about justice.
I chose to volunteer with Wesley Mission because I've always wanted to work with people who have a disability.
You meet friendly people. They're all people who are self-motivated and energetic.
It not only gives me a purpose, keeps me active, and activity leads to longevity.
Wesley Mission currently provide over 130 individual services with over 2,000 employees, supported by over 3,000 volunteers to assist over 21,000 families and individuals each year. Whew, that's a lot of numbers. So as you can imagine, we are always looking for more volunteers to help. So please, volunteer today. Visit our website, wesleymission.org.au. You will not only be meeting new and interesting people, but you will be doing all the good you can, because every life matters.
Now, as I continue to read Matthew's Gospel, I'm very aware of a growing sense of confrontation between Jesus and those who were opposing him. Jesus is presented with a political question. Let me read to you from Matthew 22:15 to 22. Then the Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap him in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. "Teacher," they said, "we know that you're a man of integrity and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You aren't swayed by others because you pay no attention to who they are. Tell us then, what in your opinion is the right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar? Is it right or is it not?" But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, "You hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used for paying the tax." They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, "Whose image is this? And whose inscription?" "Caesar's," they replied. And then he said to them, "So give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." When they heard this, they were amazed. So they left him and went away. It's quite clearly an attempt to trap Jesus. And I like the description that's quite clear in verse 15. That they were not just trying to trap him with a question, they wanted to trap him in his own words, in the words of his answer. So that helps us and gives us an insight into why Jesus answered in the way that he did. So often people, it's what they say. We've heard from Kirrily talking about being in the legal profession. Well, very often it's what we say that really is so important. And they were trying to trap him in his words. They thought they had the perfect trap. I mean, look, this is a very, very significant trap, one that really is trying to catch him out. Tell us then, what in your opinion, is it right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not? Nothing could be clearer. If you can give us an answer to that, half of us say yes, half of us say no. Come on, tell us, is it right to do that? They thought they had the perfect trap. Either way, his answer would lead to trouble. If in fact he'd said, no, 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 you shouldn't pay the imperial tax, that would cause anger. If he said, oh yes, you should pay that tax, there would be Jewish leaders that would feel angry at his response. Jesus, of course, knew their minds. I like that in verse 18. It's not the first time in the gospel that we've been aware of that insight of Jesus into human personality, into the reactions of people, but Jesus knowing their evil intent. It was their intent that mattered, not the question itself, but why they were asking the question. So Jesus has an answer for them. He asks for a coin and mentions the portrait on the coin. Let me read it again for you. But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, you hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used for paying the tax. They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, whose image is this? And whose inscription? Now you've got to remember that they had special money in the temple to pay Jewish taxes. So having coins to pay taxes is not a strange thing, and certainly would not be to the religious leaders a very, very significant thing that separated them. No, Jesus knew what was going on in their minds. He didn't separate the sacred and the secular. And that's something that we have been very committed to at Wesley Mission. When we present the good news of Jesus, when we want to share the gospel with other people, when we want to share what it is that we believe, we know that we can't create two worlds. This is a world in which God is Lord of all of life. And we have responsibilities in that world. I know that we may say to ourselves, oh, Jesus shouldn't have answered this way. But the truth is that the ATO in this country, the tax office in Britain, the people of the Inland Revenue, whether it's in North America here or wherever in the world, if we were to say we're not going to pay the taxes because we believe everything belongs to God, you won't get very far. You'll get short shrift if you try that argument. And Jesus knew that. But he also knew that there was a much more deeper, a profounder issue at stake. And it really is something that they had to come to terms with. And they were trying, when you realize now you're at chapter 22, you're beginning that journey that will eventually lead to the cross. They're trying all they can to be able to trip him up, to be able to put him in a corner, trap him in any way that they can. And the response was that of utter amazement. It tells us at the end of the section, when they heard this, that's when Jesus told them to go and give to Caesar what is Caesar's, to God what is God's. When they heard this, they were amazed. So they left him and went away. And you know, it's a little bit like the story of the devil early on in the temptations. He went away until an opportune moment, till a time. They go away, but they're not going away forever, because very, very soon we're going to be able to see how that planning and that plotting comes to a head in the cross. What does it say to us? I think it tells us we've got responsibilities in the world around us. I think it tells us we mustn't get caught out by trips and traps that take us away from the main thing. And I think more than anything, it tells us don't separate the sacred and the religious from those responsibilities that are ours in the world. And whenever we hear God's word and truth, we are utterly amazed. Whoever it is, whether it's a child hearing a story or whether it's in our daily lives, we have a commitment and a loyalty, first of all, to the one who is the Lord of life, Jesus Christ.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Thank you for being part of the programme today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Kirrily, and I've looked at the books. I highly commend them to you. You can find a link on our website to find out more about those books and maybe get them for the children or the grandchildren. If you'd like to learn more about Wesley Mission, or if we can be of help in any way, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. The website and email address is there on the screen now. You'll find so much about our activities. You'll also be able to follow us on social media and keep up to date with all the the latest news and the information that's about Wesley Mission. It's always a joy to have you with us on the programme, to have contact with those who like to write to us or send us notes or send us emails. We're delighted however you make that contact with us, and I hope you'll carry on doing so. Do join us at the same time next week, wherever you're watching this programme. Join us so you can share with us his special guests, wonderful music such as we've had today, and really share together in something that is very much Wesley Impact. So I want to thank you for sharing in the show, thank our guests, and thank you most of all that you've been with us in Jesus Christ. God bless you, same time next week.
Wesley Mission provides more than 800 home care packages each year to families and individuals. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.